He was said to be a king, a warrior, a savior of Britain in its darkest hour. But behind the legend of King Arthur lies a shadow. 5 dark truths about the most famous king you may have never known. Welcome to my channel. And today let's find out what really happened to King Arthur. Arthur may have never existed. When it comes to our favorite childhood tales, few captivate the imagination like the legendary exploits of King Arthur and his Knights of the Round Table. Yet, as with many beloved stories passed down through generations, the truth behind Arthur's existence is shrouded in mystery. For some, he is nothing more than a figment of our collective fantasy. Those who dismiss Arthur as pure mythology argue that there is no concrete evidence proving his existence. No official records or artifacts confirm his reign as King of Britain. Proponents of this view often point to the lack of historical sources that could verify Arthur's legendary feats, such as the Battle of Badon Hill or the Sword in the Stone. They contend that these accounts are nothing more than fanciful embellishments that have grown and evolved over time. Instead, they suggest that the absence of hard evidence points to the conclusion that Arthur is a wholly fictional character, a product of medieval literature and folklore rather than a historical reality. This perspective challenges the very foundations of Arthur's legacy, leaving us to question whether he was a true ruler or merely a symbol of our yearning for heroic figures. Excalibur's origins are older than Arthur. One of the most iconic symbols associated with King Arthur is his legendary sword, Excalibur. However, the origins of this mystical blade may predate Arthur himself, suggesting a deeper, more complex narrative than the traditional tales imply. Scholars have traced the roots of Excalibur back to older Celtic traditions, where similar swords held significant cultural importance. In Welsh mythology, for example, there is mention of a magical sword called Caledbog, wielded by the warrior hero Gwendu, Arthur's supposed grandfather. Some scholars believe that the name Excalibur may have evolved from Caledbog over time, indicating a shared lineage between the two swords. This theory is further supported by the fact that Caledbog was said to have been forged in the same magical manner as Excalibur, pulled from a lake by the Lady of the Lake. If this is true, then Excalibur's origins are deeply rooted in pre-Arthurian lore, suggesting that the sword's power and significance were recognized long before Arthur's rise to legendary status. The idea that Excalibur predates Arthur adds another layer of complexity to his story, hinting at a broader cultural context that shaped his enduring legacy. The Knights of the Round Table were likely propaganda. The Knights of the Round Table have become synonymous with chivalry, bravery, and the pursuit of the Holy Grail. These legendary warriors are often depicted as noble, selfless individuals who embodied the highest ideals of knighthood. However, a darker truth suggests that these valiant knights may have been nothing more than propaganda, tools used to promote the interests of the ruling elite. During the medieval period, when the legends of King Arthur flourished, Europe was dominated by powerful monarchs who sought to consolidate their power and control. The concept of the Holy Grail, a mythical vessel said to have held Christ's blood during his crucifixion, became a popular tool for advancing religious agendas. Those in power used tales of the Grail to manipulate the masses, encouraging them to support the church and the monarchy in their quest to obtain this holy relic. The Knights of the Round Table, with their unwavering commitment to quests sanctioned by the church, can be seen as pawns in this larger game of power and influence. By controlling the narrative of these heroic knights, the ruling class sought to shape the beliefs and actions of the populace, ensuring their compliance and obedience. This perspective challenges the romanticized image of the Knights of the Round Table as selfless heroes, suggesting instead that they were products of a deliberate propaganda campaign aimed at maintaining societal control. Camelot was a mythical ideal, not a place. Camelot, the legendary seat of King Arthur's power, has captured the imagination of many as a symbol of a utopian society ruled by justice and virtue. However, the truth behind Camelot may lie not in its physical form, but in the values it represented. Historians and scholars have long debated the exact location of Camelot, with various theories attempting to pinpoint its whereabouts. Some believe that Camelot may have been inspired by real places such as Caerleon on Usk in Wales, where a Roman fort once stood. However, there is no definitive evidence to support any of these claims, leaving the location of Camelot shrouded in mystery. Instead of a physical structure, Camelot may have been more of an ideal or a metaphor representing the kind of society Arthur and his knights aspired to create. This interpretation is supported by the literary descriptions of Camelot, which often emphasize its association with virtue, justice, and the pursuit of the common good, rather than its geographical coordinates. Therefore, the true nature of Camelot may lie not in its physical form, but in the values and aspirations it embodied, making it a timeless symbol of a better world. The legend was rewritten by the Church. The story of King Arthur is deeply intertwined with the evolution of Christianity in Britain. While the earliest accounts of Arthur's life and deeds predate the widespread adoption of Christianity in the region, later versions of his story were heavily influenced by the Church. As Christianity took root in Britain, those who spread the faith sought to incorporate local folklore and legends into their mission to convert the population. The story of King Arthur provided a perfect opportunity to do just that. By associating Arthur with Christian values and symbols, the Church could make the transition to Christianity more appealing to those who were already familiar with the legend. For example, the sword in the stone, a symbol of Arthur's destiny as king, was interpreted as a sign of God's favor and divine right. Similarly, the Lady of the Lake, who delivered Excalibur to Arthur, became associated with the Virgin Mary, highlighting the connection between Arthur and the Christian narrative. Through these reinterpretations, the Church effectively co-opted the legend of King Arthur, transforming him into a champion of Christianity while also advancing its own agenda within medieval British society. This raises questions about the authenticity of the original Arthurian tales and the extent to which the Church's influence shaped our perception of this legendary figure. The true story of King Arthur may be lost to the mists of time, but his legend lives on, reminding us of humanity's enduring fascination with heroism and the search for a better world. Whether Arthur was a real king or a product of medieval imagination, his story continues to inspire and captivate audiences across generations. As we explore the echoes of the past, we uncover not only the fragmented history of a legendary figure, but also the deeper truths about ourselves and the world around us. Arthur's legacy transcends the boundaries of history and mythology, inviting us to embrace the ideals of courage, justice, and compassion that he represents. So as we continue our journey through time, let us carry with us the timeless lessons of Arthur's tale, striving to be the heroes of our own stories and working towards a future that reflects the values of this legendary king. Thank you for joining us today on this journey through time. We've explored the enigmatic world of King Arthur, uncovering the shadows that lurk behind the shining armor and legendary feats. Remember, the past is never truly gone. It's always with us, shaping the present and guiding us toward the future. If you enjoyed today's episode and want to join us on more historical adventures, please don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Your support means everything to us. Together, let's keep the spirit of discovery alive and continue to unearth the hidden stories that make our world so fascinating. Until next time, stay curious, keep exploring, and remember, the past is never truly gone.